Hey everybody, and welcome to another tutorial brought to you by the Minecrafters. I'm Captain Jack, and in this tutorial video we're going to be talking about thermal expansion. Alright, right off the bat, just an FYI, I will not be showing recipes for 99% of the things that I'm about to show you in this tutorial video, but one of the few things that you'll note here is that there are some things that are going to be consistent throughout most of your recipes. This machine frame right here in the top left is going to be used in a lot of the machines, and different types of reception coils will definitely be used in a bunch of different recipes, as well as some empty frames and some empty pipes that we're going to have to fill up with some of the thermal expansion machines. So all the recipes will be listed in NEI. I will not be wasting any time showing you them. I'll only show you everything that this mod is capable of, and let's get going. First of all, we have ore generation. This mod will add copper ore, tin ore, silver ore, lead ore, and ferrous ore into your world. Alright, now previously this mod used MJ as a power source, but now it's using RF, and that's Redstone Flux, and that's what all these machines will generate. And some of the other machines from other mods will also generate Redstone Flux, but these are the engines that thermal expansion adds into your game for power generation. There's a Steam Dynamo, the Magmatic Dynamo, the Compression Dynamo, and the Reactant Dynamo. And they each take different things. This one will take coal and water to make steam, and all these engines will all output a total of 80 RF per tick. The Magmatic Dynamo will take lava and various other fluids. The Compression Dynamo needs, you can use this liquefied coal stuff, and I have gelid cryothium in here. It just needs a coolant and some sort of power source, and if you go over the tooltip of the engine inside NEI, it will tell you what kind of fuel that they need. Next, there's a Reactant Dynamo. This one takes a whole bunch of different crap, literally crap. In some cases, I have sugar and sludge right now, producing only 4 RF per tick because it has an internal storage buffer. It would be putting out 80 if it was attached to a power source. So these are the 4 different types of engines this adds into the game. And like I said, there are various fuels for each one of these. This is probably the easiest one. It will take lava. I think it will take it'll take all sorts of stuff. This one's pretty simple too, steam and water. And you can also burn really heavy hitting materials like nether stars and energized glowstone to put out a ton of power per unit in the Reactant Dynamo there. So that's the power generation. You can kind of see this little middle rod right here will display the type of liquid or the color of liquid that's inside here. So that gray is representing steam. There, that lava right there, that's lava. This one's representing that liquid coal, and here that black is sludge. Over here the glowstone, you see a nice yellow color there, so it'll tell you kind of what's inside of here. And there's no animation to these once they're hooked up, so let's talk about that next, hooking up your power. Alright, so once you have your power from one of these engines, you're going to want to transport it from place to place. And the way to do that is with these conduits. You have Leadstone, Hardened, and Redstone Energy Conduit. This one, as it says in the tooltip on the bottom, will carry 80 RF per tick. Hardened will carry 400 RF per tick, and Redstone will carry 10,000 RF per tick. And I believe each piece of pipe has a little internal energy storage buffer that it can actually hold energy apart from this here. Okay, you can also use a wrench to connect or disconnect this from engines by clicking here. There'll be a little empty box. Okay, and you can do that with any of them. And that's just how you connect power to your engines to get it to your power storage, which is the next thing we're going to be talking about. All right, power storage. Again, don't forget your wrench. You're going to need it. Throughout this mod, the colors stay consistent with most things, and that is that usually red is send or output, and receive is blue or input, and that holds true with all of these things here too. So we have 4 different types of energy cells. The easiest one to make, and it just takes a block of redstone and some ingots, is a leadstone energy cell, and that can hold a maximum of 400,000 redstone flux, and it can only put out and take in 80 redstone flux per tick. And as we get better and better, both of those numbers will increase. So this is the second best, inputting and outputting 400 RF per tick. This one can do 2,000, and finally this one can do 10,000, and it has the largest internal energy storage. If you click inside of here, there is a tooltip that you can use to change the inputs, outputs of the various sides of this block. Then you can also decrease or increase the amount of RF per tick this thing can take or send, the maximum being 10,000, unless you change your configuration files. Now, the red represents send, blue represents receive, and yellow represents closed. And also you can use a wrench to move this block around. The front facing right here, and this is the front, will show you the power levels inside the energy cell. And right now, since we have 0, there's no red bars. But as this thing fills up, a red bar will slowly raise from the bottom to the top. And along the outsides here, we just have the redstone that's inside of them. So this is how you store the energy that you have once you've made it with one of those engines. Alrighty then, let's put that power to good use. This mod adds 11 machines into your game. Some of them are very, very practical right off the bat. As soon as you get power, you will start using them. And some of them are a little bit more difficult, but luckily I am here to explain them all. Again, we have a color coding system here, and we will notice that throughout all of these machines. You can see that there's various colors on top. Purple, I think only one machine uses purple. I don't know where it is. Blue and green are all inputs, and the different inputs are based on the various little GUI slots inside of each of the machines. Yellow, orange, and red are all outputs, and they all output in they kind of all output in a little bit different way. Okay, so grab your power, make sure you have it set to red to export power, hook it up to a conduit, and get all your machines up and running. The first thing we're going to talk about is the pulverizer. Now the pulverizer basically smashes all of your ores. And every time you smash an ore, let's go ahead and grab a ferrous, because this is probably the best ore to show you. It's going to take your ferrous ore, which you can funnel in automatically from your quarry or whatever you're doing, and go ahead and smash it into 2 pulverized ferrous metal. Okay, and that will do this with all the different ores that you can put into a pulverizer, and it also has a chance to make a byproduct. Now this is going to be extremely important, so remember this. This is how you get shiny metal. Ferrous in a pulverizer has a chance to make shiny metal. We haven't got one yet, but no big deal. Alright, so this will smash all of the ores. Next, we have the basic furnace, which as long as it has power, which there's a little power buffer over here, will melt all of your pulverized ores and turn them into ingots that you can actually use. Okay, so there we go. Nice speed. Speed can't be upgraded, but that's okay. These things use not very much energy at all. And here we go. Let's grab one of these, put it in there, take this out, and we're going to make a shiny metal ingot. Okay, very nice. Alright, let's talk quick about this too. All these machines, basically every machine in thermal expansion has a redstone control on it. You can either ignore all redstone, have the signal low, or have the signal high. And basically, you really never need to change these. You can use a lever to turn the machine on and off, and so on and so forth if you want to conserve power, but that option is available. This will tell you the power usage, the amount it can store, and this will basically allow you to configure all the different sides and outputs of the machine. Now, right now, I have the left side of the machine set to blue, which is accepting from the pulverizer, and the pulverizer side is red. So we remember red is out and blue is in. So red, you can't see it, it's between here, and it's faced up against the blue side, so it's accepting, the furnace is accepting from the pulverizer, okay? And that's true with all these machines. There's that little bar, very neat, okay? Next, we have the magma crucible, and inside the magma crucible, we can put a bunch of different things. Namely, redstone is one of the things you're going to want to use for this mod, and also ender pearls, which I will grab here. I have some, no redstone in there. Basically, this will take various different things and smush it down into fluid form. And as you can see here, I have orange. This is set to export, so this is nicely coated orange, which will tell me that whatever is being produced will be shut out and moved over if it was orange. So this is filling up. You get 100 millibuckets per grind. If I set this back to orange, what it's going to do is it's going to drain out, and it's going to fill up over here because I have this accepting blue on this side, and this right here is blue. Okay, so that's accepting it. What's going on here is I'm taking this redstone energy and throwing it into these redstone energy conduits, and I'm making the redstone energy conduit. Or these are empty, see it says up there, and that's how you make the best type of power. Now you can also click this bucket here, and you can put take this out. You can put a bucket in here, and it will take the redstone and put it back. Why not just show you really quick? Oh, if I can find it. There it is. Okay, take a bucket, boop, puts it back, gives me the empty bucket. Okay, so that's the fluid transposer. And you can also use this. You have to drain the fluid out, actually, and you can use that with Liquidux, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But smashing ender pearls will give you resonant ender, which you will need to make Tesseracts, and I'll show you that later on. So that's these two machines. They work really good right next to each other, which is why I put both of these next to each other. That's the magma crucible, smashes stuff into liquid form, and the fluid transposer, which loads up various different things. Next, we have the induction smelter, and the induction smelter is going to be really important in making a few different things. Enderium, which is going to take like sulfur and some of that shiny metal and stuff. This is how you make, oh geez, I forget what it's called. You're definitely going to need it though, if I can even find the right. This stuff, blazing pyrotheum, or whatever it is. You're going to need that. Basically, this will combine two different things to make something, and there's various recipes. Let me see. I don't know why I can't get a recipe list, but anyways, pulverized obsidian and lead will give you hardened glass, which is another really important component in a lot of the recipes included in this mod. And you can see here's a green for input, so this has two separate input slots. You can see the green is reflected over there. So if I had crushed obsidian coming in the green side, and I had, let's say, oh, purple. Yeah, it's purple down here. So purple is on the bottom. Oh, there it is back there. So if I had lead coming in the back, had crushed obsidian coming in the side, this would fill up both of these two slots, and it would send it over to here. And since I have no output, it's not sending it anywhere. And that's what the induction smelter is for. So this is used for a bunch of different recipes. Again, redstone control and the amount of energy that this machine can use. Next, the sawmill takes wood and produces a byproduct. It also gives you 6 per wood, so that's pretty good. And this sawdust is used in a couple other recipes, so this is a really good way to get the most wooden planks from your logs. Next, we have the igneous extruder, and this will take, and better go ahead and grab some right here so you can actually see what I'm talking about. I'll grab a water bucket. Where is it? There we go. And I will grab a lava bucket. And this little machine makes different kinds of blocks with lava and water. So it can make cobblestone, stone, or obsidian, and it takes water and lava. And you can go ahead and right-click, fill that up with water. You can see that this over here is filled up with water. And you can go ahead and right-click with lava, and you can see that the machine fired to life, and now it is taking water and lava and making obsidian. So if you don't have a good pick and you can't get down there to mine obsidian yet, don't want to waste your diamonds, you can go ahead and use an igneous extruder to make some obsidian, perhaps to get yourself to the nether. Now the cobblestone uses the least of each, and the obsidian takes the most of each between water and lava. And this machine requires no power to operate. That's also pretty important. Next, we have the glacial precipitator, and this machine takes water over here. You can see it lit up there, and you can make snowballs, snow, and ice out of it. And they'll come out right here. And again, all sorts of controls over here. You can set it to export automatically, and you can also pour liquid directly into this machine, as you can all of these things. Next, we have the aqueous accumulator, and let me go ahead and grab a tank here. Let's grab a thermal expansion resonant borable tank, and I'll put that right on top of there. And you can see that this is basically taking from the 2 adjacent water sources, and 2 is always a safe way to go. You can put more around it, but it's not going to do any more. And it's basically going to use no power and just suck up some water and deposit it into a liquid pipe, tank, whatever. I happen to have a tank up here, and the outputs are all set to orange. This machine will not have an input, and that is the only option. So orange is sending it up to the top. These are really helpful for basically infinite amounts of water for free, besides the cost of the recipe. Now let's talk about the energetic infuser. This will basically take items and charge them up. Now this is already charged. This is the Leadstone Flux capacitor. We'll talk about those a little bit later. But you just charge anything that takes MJ or RF. You can throw it in here once it's charged, and once it will use power from here and also from direct energy that you're feeding it. Once it's charged, it'll just throw it over here in the right side, so you can automatically charge your things. Redstone control, RF per tick. All right, the cyclic assembler will basically you use patterns from this machinist workbench, and in order to make a pattern, let's just go ahead and do let's do that. It's not a valid recipe yet. That is a valid recipe. Oh, I have this totally backwards. Okay, there we go. That's a valid recipe, okay? And you have to have these schematics, and it's you use blue dye and some other things to make these. And once you have a proper recipe in there, and once you have a schematic in a schematic spot, you can go ahead and click Write Schematic, and that will make this remember the recipe. Once we take that out, and it'll actually, you can use this to craft things kind of like a project table or um, project bench, whatever all those things are. So you can craft directly in here, or you can use this assembler to automatically craft things. Now I have a couple recipes in here already. One of them is just glass, and the other one is machine frames. And I don't have any iron ingots on me right now. So let me go ahead and grab an iron ingot. Oh, where'd it go? Up top. And if I was to put this, let me see, where is it? This machine frame right here, I could put that in here. And what it's going to do is it's going to use resources in the bottom of this table to craft as many as it possibly can, as quickly as it can. And this is really fast, so I'm going to throw iron in here, and you can see that it just made a whole bunch of those really quickly until I ran out of iron. And I could put glass in here, and it would use all the glass and make a bunch of tanks for me, and so on and so forth. Now this one has another button down on the bottom here, and since it used, now I can make a chest. Let's do this. Let's make a chest. Okay, I can do that. I can take this out. I can put a blank schematic inside here. I can click check mark, and it will now know how to make a chest. And I'll go ahead and throw some of those in there. And I have 7 chests. Really awesome. Okay, I can also make a boat. Now, let me see if it'll overwrite that. Fab. It sure will. Okay, so it'll just overwrite anything that you put in there. Okay, so that's the assembler here. Redstone control, inputs, outputs. You can see that they're color-coded blue here for input. You can change that. There we go. All sorts of wacky stuff. Okay, so that's the assembler here. Now, what can you do with these things once you string them together? Here is a wacky little setup that I have. I have 3 different pulverizers. This one's pulverizing tin, this one's pulverizing obsidian, and this one's pulverizing lead. And then the lead's being smelted into bars here, the tin's being smelted into bars here, and then the lead and the obsidian are both getting jammed into the induction smeltery, and then the lead that's being made from this thing here is going into the assembler, as well as the hardened glass, which is the product of lead and obsidian, as I already said, and they're going in here and it's auto crafting me item ducts. So let me go ahead and turn this on. Don't worry if you don't know how to use these. We'll talk about them in just 1 minute. Oh, and let's go 64. Let's fill up all these machines properly. Uh-oh, my pipe jammed. Okay, we got tin in here now. We have smushing obsidian, and we have some lead ore here. And this is smelting my pulverized lead into bars. This is smelting my tin into bars. The obsidian, I have the output on the top here. It's going into the induction smelter. I have the redstone furnace outputting on the side, so it's also going into the induction furnace. Both those materials are being sent up here to make my item ducts, and it has a schematic already loaded in there. And you can see that the resources are already automatically popping into here, and they're being thrown down, and it's automatically making me item ducts. What a great little setup, and you could do this for whatever you can possibly think of. You can also pipe liquids right into this cyclic assembler in case you need to make like a bucket of water for whatever reason. Alright, so that's all the machines that thermal expansion adds into the game. Hope that wasn't too complicated, hope it wasn't too confusing, and hope I didn't go too fast. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments below. Let's move on. Alright, as with most mods, the thermal expansion will allow you to put your ingots in a 9 block crafting grid to make blocks out of your ingots. Thermal expansion also adds rock wool to your game, as well as hardened glass, which we already talked about, but it's pretty cool aesthetically, and also these glowstone illuminators. Very pretty. That's some blocks. Alright, liquid storage and transportation. Let's find out how you move liquids from place to place and some of the different ways that this mod allows you to store them. Grab yourself a servo motor or wrench and let's get going. We have 2 different kinds of fluid ducts that transport fluid from one place to another. The first one is opaque, which means you can't see what's inside of it. The second one is plain fluid duct. Probably you've been used to seeing this one most of all. This one's very easy to make. This one is a little bit harder, but not too difficult. And that's that. So stuff that you can see the liquids inside, something that you can't see the liquids inside. Next, there's 4 different types of tanks. We have the portable tank, we have the hardened portable tank, the reinforced portable tank, and the resonant portable tank. And they all will hold different amounts of liquids. The regular portable tank only holding 8 buckets. This one holds 16, 32, and finally 64. So you can fit a lot of different fluids inside of these. And best of all, when you hit them with a pickaxe or with a wrench, you can go ahead and carry them around and put them from place to place. Isn't that awesome? Okay, very good. So those are the different kinds of tanks. The tanks, like all the other machines, have inputs and outputs, and you can kind of change those with a wrench if you need to. If they're standalones, input is blue and output is red. So when you pour into the blue side, it will output into the red side and fill the bottom tank, and it will just fill tank after tank after tank. Time after time. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to add a pneumatic servo to this fluid duct. Now, the fluid duct, which moves liquid from place to place, oh my goodness, it's not moving. You can attach a pneumatic servo by right-clicking with the servo in your hand. Blunk! It says the pneumatic servo has been installed. Once it's installed, and this one's already been installed on the pipe that they're part of the pipe that sticks to your fluid or machine thingy. You can open it up inside of here, and you can enable redstone control, so you don't have to have an ugly lever. Goodbye. To control the flows of your liquids. Okay, and right now I have lava whitelisted, which means it will only accept lava, and this is water obviously, so it's not letting it through. But if I was to remove that, it's going to allow the water to flow from one place to another. Now you can also click the wrench on here to detach it from an inventory. You can set it to, this one's kind of like input mode, and this is output mode. As you can see, we're filling up over there. And if I was to change this, it would just go to the other side, but since this is on output mode, won't accept it. Let's change it to input mode, and there we go. We can move fluids from place to place. Okay, and that's without a redstone signal because we added a pneumatic servo. So those are the different types of tanks, and those are the different types of fluid duct, and you can attach fluid duct to all different types of things. Alright, as with most of my tutorial videos, this is taking way longer than I thought, but sit tight, we're getting to the good part. Next, we're going to talk about item storage and transportation. There's 4 different kinds of lock boxes, or strong boxes, I'm sorry, as they're called if you don't count the creative one. And these basically will store anywhere from this amount, which is very small in the regular strongbox, to the hardened strongbox, reinforced, and finally the resonant strongbox. These have a few different security settings here, and you can see that the little latches look a little bit different. This I have set to owner only. This has restricted access, and finally these two are public access. And when you pick these up and move them around, you can store basically they store the contents inside the block. So it's sort of like Minecraft Inception here, where you can fill up a strongbox and put another strongbox inside another strongbox, and so on and so forth. All right, next we're going to talk about item transportation, and these work just the same as the liquid ducts. There's one that's opaque that you can't see through, and one that's not, that you can see the items that are flowing through it, and they're pretty easy to make. This one's a little bit harder. Again, next we have the impulse item duct, and this is the opaque impulse item duct. And basically, if you used to use red power, this is kind of like pneumatic tubes, and these are kind of like mag tubes. The only difference is this one goes a little bit faster. Okay. Now, again, go ahead and grab yourself a pneumatic servo because there's some things that you can do to edit these pipes and the way they work. First of all, I have a resonant strongbox here, and I have some blocks of gold inside of it. Here, I have no pneumatic servo because it's yelling at me after I right-clicked it to install one. And if I go ahead and apply a redstone signal, what's going to happen is it's going to move the blocks from place to place very slowly because this is the crappier of the two kinds of pipe. Very good. I can change these settings with a wrench. I can change this to output mode and this to input mode. There we go. And once it has a redstone signal, just like that, it will go from place to place. If I go ahead and break this, there's going to be a problem. It's going to back up and it's going to clog my pipe. And it's going to show that it's red and it's angry and that it couldn't get to where it wanted to go. And you can see that little tooltip on the right comes up. It's stuffed. Okay. If I was to have another piece of that pipe, and I do, let's go ahead and put that back there. It's going to try to send it back out, and slowly those items are going to disappear, and they're going to go to the place that they want to be. Very happy. Now, just like we did with the fluid ducts, you can also go ahead and apply a pneumatic servo to the sticky part that sticks to your inventory. So if I go ahead and click this with an empty hand, it's going to say that there's no servo in there, and that one needs to be installed for control. So if you grab a servo in your hand, right-click, it will say that it's been installed. Now you can open it up and see what you can do inside. You can increase or decrease the stack size in big increments by holding the shift while you click these, or you can do one at a time, just like that. You can also choose to ignore a redstone signal, so you don't need these pesky little levers anymore. So I have my items in here. I go ahead and click on this. I'm going to ignore all signals, and it will automatically pull anything that I put into this chest out through the item duct and into my other chest. So that's another pretty cool thing you can do with the servo and these item ducts. Now let's take a look at what else you can do with these, because you can do a few more things. Inside this one right here, I have let's see, I don't have any of them set like that. I have a chest full of a whole bunch of diamonds, and I want to get those diamonds from place to place. Now, if I go ahead and I'm just going to apply a signal to this, if I have it set correctly here. I'm going to go ahead and apply a signal to this, so you can see we're using the faster of them. What it's going to do is it's going to find the closest inventory and send it to it, okay? So what you can actually do is you can adjust how far away certain pipes, or how far away it thinks certain pipes are. So if I go ahead and do this the right way with a wrench and add, let's say, and you can do this at any point in the pipe, you can do it down here or down here. So I'm going to say red, and red means that it's like 1,000 blocks away. It's going to make this chest think that this is farther than any of them, when in reality, that one's physically farther. What I'm also going to do is I'm also going to change, actually, let's, upside down. Okay, so let's flip it on. So it thinks this one's the farthest away. Now it goes to this one because that's the next closest. And if I go ahead and apply a signal to that, it's going to say, oh, that one's really far away. Let's go ahead and send it to that last one up there. Okay, I keep doing that. Doesn't like it when it sticks. Okay, so let's go ahead and take away these. So the red means that it's about 1,000 blocks away. It will allow you to determine where you want things to be sent on your little network of pipes. Next, there is the green, which will think it's closer, which will kind of make it a negative block value. So if I go ahead and put a green block there, that will be the closest inventory now, and these will not. And it will ignore those two, and it will go straight into the top chest because it's green and because it thinks it's actually the closest, okay? Next, we have the orange, and the orange kind of operates in like a round-robin fashion in that it will try to distribute evenly among all the various inventories on your network. And as you can see there, we have a little bit going into each of these chests. So that's pretty cool. Now, what you can do on these is that you can blacklist certain items. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, let's say I'll just take a bunch of reservoirs and I'll throw them in there. I'm going to change this to stack size 64, and what I'm going to do is I am going to blacklist diamond, just so you can see what this does. I'm going to blacklist diamond, okay, so this will not allow diamond, doesn't like it, and I will make this distribute evenly among the other two chests, okay? So no diamond should go into that middle chest because it's blacklisted, and you see that one in there because it's not blacklisted, okay? And now it's going to distribute them evenly between the other two. So those are the various settings that you can do with your item ducts here. You can make a little sorting system, okay? So I have these set to only accept various different things. I have a chest full of a bunch of stuff, and I have a predetermined path that I want each of them to go into. I have this set to, there's no specific colors, and I'm just going to go ahead and turn this on and show you what this does. So I'm going to disable redstone control. I'm going to make it do that, and I believe we're in stack size, okay? So it's sending all the different ores to all the different places there. I have this with the red because this is the farthest from my network, and I have gold in here, I have copper in here, I have silver in here, and so on and so forth. So you can make a little sorting system like this, and you can do nine items per piece of pipe. Another thing to note is that you can attach multiple facings to this so that you can make a little compact system. All right, Red Power Nostalgia, and I name that just because some of these blocks are very similar to some of the blocks that used to appear in Red Power. First one we have here is a terrain smasher, and it's basically the equivalent of a block breaker. If you go ahead and put a block in front of it, it will simply break it, suck it up, and throw it into wherever you have. This is configured by using these here, and it has an output only, and that's what it does. Doesn't do 2 blocks in front of it, doesn't do a block above it, smashes it, sucks it in, and sends it up there. Next, we have a nullifier, and the nullifier basically will destroy anything that you put into it. It's basically like, I forget what they're called, Inferno everything. It will also accept items via pipe, and you can pipe it right in from whatever you want to destroy it, and you can set it to always disabled, enabled, and so on and so forth. That is a nullifier, just destroys anything that you put into it. Next, we have this autonomous activator here, and this is a really wacky block. I'm sure somebody can think of something extremely creative to do with this, but I just did some simple things here. It basically will simulate a player right-clicking, left-clicking, and shift-clicking, or sneaking while clicking. And let me just show you what this does. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on here. And this is basically just simulating a right click, okay, not sneaking, and it's just turning this lever on and off. And I have it set to always ignore. I can set it to just do it once per redstone pulse, and so on and so forth. So it's simulating a player's click. I hope that makes sense. Next, you can do a few more things with it. You can see this is placing and removing water. And what I have here is I have a bucket and then a full bucket of water, and it's going back and forth because I have it set to round robin instead of random. Let me set this other one to random. There's a few different options, so it'll just randomly use anything in here. So if you have a wrench, you might be able to like wrench something automatically, or with a redstone pulse, and so on and so forth. Again, I'm sure you can do some pretty creative things with this thing, but not have the time to show them. Okay, so this is deploying and taking water. And what you can also do is you can also have this, let's say, if I was to simulate a left click and to have it always be active, it would crush this just like I was hitting it with my hand, okay? So we do that. Oh, I'm in creative. So that didn't work very well, but it does that. And what else does it do? It will simulate a right click, and if I put like a piece of that there, it'll deploy it. And if I do the aim level high and I put another piece in here, it will put one above it, okay, and below it, and so on and so forth. So that's what this block does. Kind of strange, but again, sure you can do something pretty cool with it. All right, we're almost to the end, I promise, but Tesseracts are probably the single most useful thing in this entire mod, so let's get going. To make a Tesseract, you're going to need to crush some ender pearls in a magma crucible, send them over to your fluid transposer. Once you have a bunch of resonant ender and a Tesseract frame that's empty, make sure you go ahead and switch it to the fill mode, and this is going to slowly fill up a Tesseract frame. And then once you have that filled up, you're going to need to combine it with something else to make a Tesseract, Enderium, I believe. And that's pretty difficult to make. It's a little bit higher end. These are a lot harder to make than they used to be. But in any case, that's how you make a Tesseract, okay? And this is not a completed Tesseract. You cannot place this in the world. Don't make that mistake. All right, this is what a Tesseract looks like that's on. This one is what it looks like when it's off. Let's go ahead and quickly take a look inside of it. We have a bunch of different settings, and I have 4 channels ready here. What you can do here is you can make a different channel, seemingly as many as you want. So if I make channel 874, I'll name it Hello World, and if I hit check, it will check the frequency, and I will need to now add it with a plus to save it and set this Tesseract to this frequency. If I was to click X, it would deactivate, so it says device inactive. It's not hooked up to any frequency, even though there's a word here, or even though there's a frequency name here. You just go ahead and click it again, or click whatever one you want. So I'm going to click the bottom one. I'm going to click check. It's going to turn on, and it's going to activate the Tesseract. Okay, so that's the settings of channels, and this was frequency 847. This one is, let me turn this off. This one's frequency 3, this one's 2, this one's 1, and so on and so forth. Now there's a bunch of different things that you can do inside these Tesseracts, and essentially what they do is they remotely transport liquids, fluids, or power from any place to any place. Just be sure that the place that you're sending stuff to, if it's far away, is chunk loaded. You have 3 different options here, and they used to be all in different Tesseracts. One was a liquid Tesseract, one was energy, and so on and so forth. But now they've thankfully combined them all into one, and they're really they're even more useful than they used to be. And there's 3 different settings on each of these. You can either block it, send only, receive only, or send and receive. And I can't count. It's 4. Okay, and you can set this to only send items, only receive items, send and receive items, or just turn it off. So let's find a practical application for this, and let's go as fast as I can. I have an impulse item duct here that's clogged, as you can see, and I have this set to items, okay? And what this is doing is it's taking items from this chest, going into the Tesseract, and once I turn this on and switch it to items, check, what it's going to do is it's going to fill up with items over here. So it's sending it remotely from place to place. Let me turn that off. Next, let's take a look at the energy Tesseract, and I have this set to frequency 3, power. I have this sending and receiving energy, and I have it coming from a creative energy cell there. I have an energy cell here that's empty, and I want to get some power. So what I'll do is I'll select the power channel. I'll make sure I'm receiving power, hit that check mark, and this is going to slowly start receiving power wirelessly. Awesome for quarries, so on and so forth. Let's move on to fluids. This one's hooked up to fluid. Channel 4, it's set to send and receive fluids. And I have oil, lava, and water all coming into the very same Tesseract. And now what I want to do is I want to pump them all out through one Tesseract by switching it to the fluid setting, hitting that check mark, and what's going to happen is all those different fluids are going to come out and they're going to fill up inside of my tanks or wherever I have them. Now you can put Tesseracts directly adjacent to some of the thermal expansion machines, so you can completely avoid the need for fluid ducts and so on and so forth. So that is really handy use for Tesseracts, and an even handier use is that you can do all three at once. So basically I have this set to channel all the things. I have send and receive for everything. I have this one turned off currently, so this one should start filling up with lava. This one's going to start filling up with energy, and this one's going to start filling up with items as soon as I enable this, okay? So there we go. Cobblestone's coming in from here. It's being sucked out, thrown into here. We have lava now loading up, as you can see by the tooltip on the top. And over here, we're filling up with energy. So you can do all these three things at once. Tesseracts are awesome. Best thing about this mod. Let's keep moving. All right, last and maybe least, flux capacitors and florbs. These are interesting here. There's 5 different types of flux capacitors you can make. One is tuberous here, holds 16K. One, this Leadstone holds 80. Hardened holds 400. Redstone holds 2,000. And the Resonant holds 10 million. You can make an easy free source of energy with tuberous flux by crafting a potato, a lead nugget, and a redstone together. And you will get one of these things, and basically what they will do is, if activated, they will charge items that can accept charge inside of your inventory. So if I go ahead and shift click, you can see that that turned a little bit of a different color, and we will notice that this leadstone energy cell that I have in my inventory is slowly filling up with energy, and this is slowly decreasing. So if I look at this, you can see that it's got 3,000, 4,000, and it's going to empty this out and destroy it, and eventually it will unload all of its charge into this here, and that will work with any tool or something that uses MJ or Redstone Flux. And they'll all hold different amounts, so that's what those do. Very interesting, very good. Let's move on to Florbs, which I don't even know what these things are. To make an empty Florb, good grief, yes, you can throw it. You can fill it with a fluid transposer. I'll show you that in a second. Use some slag, some sawdust, and a slime ball to get 4 Florbs. And you can fill these with all different types of liquids. I have molten ardite here. I have magma, that one's empty. Creosote oil, spring water, magmatic with full of blood, okay? And yes, you can throw these just like it says and make a mess of everything. And to fill these up, you can use a magma crucible. What you're going to want to do is grab yourself some empty florbs. Oh, I don't have any empty florbs. But let's find some here. Where's the empty one? These things all look the same. Good grief. Florb, empty. That was it right there. Okay, so you can take something, squish it like redstone you can take, and put it over here. You take your florb, and it will fill up your florb with destabilized redstone, okay? And you can throw that to make an even bigger mess. And you can empty out these florbs into tanks and all sorts of various other things. Okay, the last thing I want to tell you about is this Blizz rod. And there is a mob called a Blizz, and there is a spawner for it. And there's a monster spawner also that will not spawn in this biome because it can only be spawned in very cold places. But you can see what it looks like, and it will drop these Blizz rods, which can be smashed in a pulverizer to make that gelid cryothium and the liquid cryothium that you can use to cool down all sorts of things like big reactors and some of your other thermal expansion machines. Whew, I think that's it, guys. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry about the length of the video. Basically covered every single thing on this entire mod. Oh, that was my cage I had for these until I realized I couldn't spawn one. If you have any questions, if I went too fast, and if I didn't cover something to the full extent that you would be happy with, drop me a line, leave a comment, check us out on Facebook, the whole 9 yards. Thank you for watching, guys, and as always, stay poised.